Hello, and welcome to Life with Libby Joy. I'm Libby Joy, and we're going to enjoy the journey of life together. This podcast is to inform and to inspire women to enjoy the journey of life. Life is a journey, and on this podcast, you will hear information about the challenges, the successes, the issues, the concerns, and the joy that is womanhood. I tried to focus on one thing, but I couldn't. So we'll talk about all different kinds of things on each episode. We recently talked about purpose. We'll continue that conversation today. We'll also talk about menopause. We'll talk about dating. We'll talk about divorce. We'll talk about all of the things that women go through in their life journey. So, thank you again for listening to Life with Libby Joy. Let's begin with a hot topic. Our hot topic today came straight out of Facebook. It was on Facebook. It was posted after a Chicago radio station decided to ask this question: how long should you stay engaged before marriage? I'll read it again. How long should you stay engaged before marriage? I immediately wanted to answer this question on Facebook. I have an answer. Now, it's just my opinion, of course, but my answer was 2 years. That's right, 2 years. Usually it takes 2 years to plan a wedding to make sure everybody is able to come on the date you need them to come to. 2 years is usually the time it takes for you to introduce your fiance to family members who have never met them. It's usually 2 years. So that was my answer: 2 years. It also takes 2 years to plan for a honeymoon, for life after the marriage ceremony. Where are we going to live? What are we going to do? And all of these things, I said 2 years. Now, I know there are people who have been engaged way longer than 2 years. So I'm not downing you. I'm not disrespecting your journey. Just wanted to let you know what I think you should be doing while you're waiting. So 2 years is what I'm thinking. But if you are doing more, here's what I'm going to suggest you do: go to marriage counseling. That's it. If it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you should be speaking to a marriage counselor while you and your fiance are deciding to make this big jump. The leap of marriage is a big jump. Even informed, it is a struggle sometimes, but yet it's a great, great institution. I'm saying that because I have been married for 25, almost 26 years. I love marriage. I do. I love love and I love marriage. However, I think sometimes we forget that there are certain things you need to think about or consider before you decide to make that ultimate decision. So if you're waiting 1 year, 2 years, however long, seek some marriage counseling. That's my advice. That's my auntie thoughts for today. I would tell my nieces and nephews this. I have told them this. You need to seek marriage counseling because that open communication that you're building as you are preparing to be married is priceless. You need to have a best friend because life needs a best friend. You need a best friend. That's my advice for you. So, how long is too long? It's up to you, but definitely need to seek marital advice. Okay, that was enough about that. Life is filled with joy, and I would love for your marriage to have that kind of joy. Our main thing, as we talked about last time, I'm going backwards to talk about it today. I felt like there was a lot of information. I tried to keep the segments 30 minutes or under so you have time to do all the other things you do in your day. So I want to break these two thoughts up. The first thought I mentioned last time was finding your purpose, was what is your joy? What makes your heart sing? What would you do for free if you could do it for free? You would do it all day long. Those are the things I mentioned in that first episode. I asked some essential questions. These are top three. What are your three strengths that you can think of right away? What are you proud of in your life? What do you like about yourself? And what do you enjoy or love doing? I suggested that you talk to your family and friends around you to ask them some questions And then I asked for you just to go and journal about all of these questions and responses. I suggested that you do these things to help you really find what your joy is and what you love to do. Well, now I know. I told you what my love was. I love to sing, I love to dance, or I love to teach, or whatever you said your love was. Now, what do you do with it? Now, what do you do with this passion and this joy that you have from doing these simple things? What do you do with it? If I love to sew, what do I do with that? If I'm a crafter or a painter. And so these next steps are more the action steps. I feel like every plan has to have action. Feel like almost the A team. You love it when a plan comes together. This is my thought about purpose. Purpose has to have a plan. So it's great to have a joy, it's great to have a passion, but your purpose has to have a plan. It has to have a commitment attached. What do you need to do to make your happiness a true purpose in life? So I also have lots of questions for you. Again, I told you if you're going to a life coach or a career counselor or any person in that nature, they're going to give you questions for you to fill out and answer and have conversations with you. So that's what we're doing today. We're having a little mini coaching session for free. You're welcome. Here's the first thought and my first questions for today. And you need to ask yourself these questions again. You have paper and pen, it's always good to take notes. If you did not get my questions because I'm either talking a little faster than you could write down or you're not able to write because you're in the car, I will also email you these questions if you ask me to. My email is lifewithlibbyjoy@gmail.com. Again, life with Libby Joy at email me. I will definitely send these out to you as soon as I can. So this is the questions that I have, and there's lots of them. I have them in categories. There's two categories today. The first one is identifying your options. So now what do you do? So now how do you get where you want to go? And these are the questions that I have. The first one is this: what specifically have you done so far? What worked and what didn't work? We're not from the belief that you've done nothing in your life and you just sat there and waited. So you have done something. So the question is, what have you already done to move forward in your journey? Have you already begun filling out some applications to do that job that you've always dreamed of doing? I know I have. I fill out applications. Or what if I love to sew? Have I been getting things to sew? Do I have a sewing machine? These are the things. What have you already started or what have you already begun? You want to make sure you give give yourself credit for everything you do. Don't sell yourself short. Give yourself credit. You have started on the path to your purpose. Let's just keep moving forward and continue. The movement forward or the progression forward is what we're going after. So, yes, I've already started some things. What have I started? Has it worked or hasn't it? Some things that haven't worked doesn't mean you should stop doing it. Some things that haven't worked may just need to be um, moved or packaged differently, or it may just take some time. You may have to give it some more time. So make sure you don't throw it away. Don't always say don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. Don't throw away the idea because it didn't work exactly the way you thought it would. Give yourself some time, adjust, realign, and try again. So what have you done so far? The second question is this: what do you have already? What skills or what resources do you already possess to move forward? What skills or what steps do you already have to move yourself forward? I know when I try to do something new or I attempt to do something new, I often want to find, and this is the educator in me, a book. I want to find a course. I want to find something to make sure I'm right and doing it the correct way. That's great. But what else can you do? What else do you have in your repertoire already? So you already have some skills that you already have. So what can you do with those things that you already have? What's already in your hand? What do you already have in your home? What do you already have in your community that you can use? The next one is, what research could you do to help you find the first or next steps? So that is your due diligence of work. I want to be a teacher. What do I have to do? I have to go to college. What's next? No, you need to major in this. You get to go through the steps. Find that out. Find out what it'll take for you to start that book. Or if you want to create a book and self publish, there are lots of ways to self publish. There are people out there giving seminars for it. You can talk to people who've already self published and found out more information. When I was working on my book, I asked someone who had already self published to walk me through, and she did. And it was very, very helpful. So, those are the kind of things that we talk about doing your research. It's not just on the computer, it's sometimes just talking to people who have done what you desire to do. The next one, what do you need to do before you do anything else? What's first? I'm going to pause and let you think about that. What's first? What's your first step in your plan? Again, I said Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know if I said it on here, but I know I say it all the time. Rome was not built in a day, and I will probably say it again later. That means that whatever is successful does take time, and using things that are built strongly last. That's why that's a great phrase. Rome wasn't built in a day. Because even though things take time to build, once they're built, they're solid. That's what we're looking at. Your next question, like I said, I had a lot of questions. It's almost like I'm playing 20 questions with you tonight. Your next question, um, who else could you ask for help in achieving your goal? Maybe this isn't a solo project. I know for me, I am speaking to you. There's nobody here with me in the studio other than my husband, who's always here. Say hi, Erwin.
What up, though?
So, but I may have some other people come alongside me and be guests or do some co-hosting with me. So, what else or who else could help you achieve that plan or that goal? It may not just be a project just for you. There may be two other ladies or two other people who are in the same field and market, and then you all can come together and collaborate and do some great things together. Who else could you ask? Two more questions in this part, and then I'll pause. If you were at your best, what would you do right now? So if everything was lined up exactly at all costs of what you want, what would you do right now? I'm answering the question in my mind. I would definitely take the podcast on tour. I would go to different venues and do the podcast. I love to travel. Don't travel as much as I love to, but I love to travel. That's something I would do if I was at my best. If I was at my best and I did this often, I was able to go and move it around, I would do that. Your next question, and this is the last one for this moment. What would you do if you were an expert in the area of your goal or problem? If you were the expert. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, you are the expert in the room for what you love to do. I know a young man that loves to play an instrument, becoming an expert in the room. When he's with his friends in school, none of them play the instrument he's playing. He's the expert. He's explaining to them how to play and why how he learned how to play. We often take for granted the things that we know. We feel like we're not the expert, but a lot of times you may just be the expert in the room. Everyone doesn't know how to make an apple pie. So when you're making these great apple pies, you're the expert in the room. You can explain to them step by step the baking process of how you accomplish your pie or what you do. You could tell your secrets, or maybe you don't tell your secrets, to let them know, there's a great way to do this. You are the expert in the room. And when you started realizing all the skills that you have, you will eventually, if you're not there yet, you will become the expert in the room. Your passion for your subject matter, your intensity to research, your desire to try new things will cause you to have this expertise in the room. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. You're the expert in the room. And if you're not the expert yet, you are becoming the expert in the room. Because sometimes you're not there yet, but you're becoming the expert in the room. That's your goal and your purpose as you move forward. So, I'm going to say this. There are lots of steps to these action plans. And again, if you need all of these, please email me at lifewithlibbyjoy@gmail.com and I will give you all of this information so you can really sit and think and have moments to ponder in your quiet time. The last part was taking action. And it says, look at the list of the ideas and opinions or sorry, options you now have. So take a look back at all the things that you've done. And here are the questions. What would be the smallest or easiest first step for you? What's your first step? Remember, it's a small step. There's an African proverb, how do you eat an elephant? And they say one bite at a time. I would never eat an elephant, but the concept is this, that you cannot do big things with one big gulp. You literally have to go one step at a time, one piece at a time, one thing at a time. Don't belittle your small steps. Your small steps are just that. They're steps in the direction toward your purposeful life. The second thing, what options or actions grab you? What things you like, oh, I need to do that right away. That would be great. I need to do that right away. That'd be good. One of my first things when I talked about podcasting, I wanted to go and watch somebody else talk about podcasting. That's one of the first things I did. I did a course on podcasting. One of the first things I did. Then there was lots of other steps after. But that is the thing. What's your first thing you can do in that step? How could you make the task or actions more enjoyable or fun? We don't want the work to be tedious. While a lot of the background work is tedious, it is tiresome. There are long hours, even doing something you love to do. As a teacher, I know that. Even doing things I love to do, I have graded papers for 72 plus people. Some of them were actual essays. So I was reading essays and doing all the editing and all that lovely stuff and giving grades. So that was tedious work. There are tedious parts of anything you love to do. But try to find ways to make it more enjoyable. Try to take those breath breaks or those moments to stop and do your joyful thought or your joy drop, and then go back to some of that tedious stuff that you have to do. Break it up. Break it up. And then the last one I'm going to do is, what are 3 actions you could take that would make sense this week? This is a real action question. What are 3 actions you could take that would make sense this week? I had to read it to make sure I had it down. What can you do this week? Not next week, not next month. Oh, there's a session coming up 2 weeks from now. Nope. What can you do this week? What 3 things, 3 actions you can do this week? Give me 3. I hear 1. Think about another one. What 3 things can you do this week? I also find helpful in my journal when I'm journaling is that I put that down. I put the question down and then I give my time frame for it. So the question says, what 3 actions? I put the date, whatever date you are watching this. And then I would come back at the end of that week. You could say that week is like Monday through Friday, or you could say it's Tuesday to Tuesday, however you want to choose what a week is, 7 days. And then I would put the date for that 7 day and then put the things I've already accomplished. You will be amazed how much you can get done when you are journaling and seeing your progression on paper. It makes you kind of go, wow. I love vision boards. I will talk about a vision board probably soon, but vision boards are like that for me. I put things on vision boards and then I look at them every month. And then I almost like do a mental check. I do a mental check off, like I've already done that. I was trying to do that for the year. It's just, April, or it's just May or just June or whatever month it is. You're like, look, I've already accomplished what I thought it was going to take me a whole year to do. And so those are very important things. And that look back and reflection is good. That's why I would say keep a journal, keep a notebook, so you can write down your progress and your success. As I was doing this, I had to stop and think about some of the concerns it goes with purposeful life, or the challenges that we are having doing something new or embracing our passion or our giftedness in life. And this is what I looked at. It's this thing that people keep talking about that I'm still hearing over and over, this word imposter syndrome. I will eventually have someone come on and talk about it, some therapist, but I just want to talk a little bit about what I know about imposter syndrome. I just want to give you a definition. It's a psychological experience where individuals doubt their abilities and accomplishment despite external evidence of the contrary. They may feel like they are frauds or imposters who will eventually be exposed. And I made sure I read the definition because I hear it a lot. I have imposter syndrome. I hear people say that a lot. And I thought about it. I said, I understand that a lot of times we go into new things, we feel like we shouldn't be in the room. I listened to someone the other day talk about this, and actually, my husband does a great job of explaining this to my child that she deserves to be in the room. Now, this does not mean that being in the room means you are all done and settled and that you have every part of that expertise going. You are desiring to be the expert in the room. But when you first begin, you will probably feel like a novice. You will feel like you don't quite know all of the parts and the pieces. Like when you start a new job, you have to ask a lot of questions because you really don't know what the protocols are for your employer, or you don't know what time breaks are. You don't know some information that most people do because you've never been there before. So you are a novice. You're beginning stages of whatever it is. And I had to go back into my own life and think about my first days of teaching. I went to school. I actually had a master's degree in education. I had spent all those hours that they make you do before you can even get a license. I had passed all those tests. But when I walked into the room for the first day, I felt like a novice. Like, will these children listen to me? Will they consider me the expert in the room? Will I know all of the answers to the questions that they will have? I was so concerned about my image or appearance. I made sure I looked like a old school teacher. I had my sweater on. I did air quotes if you didn't see that. I had my sweater on. I had my long skirt on, and I had heels. The reason I had heels is because my 5 foot, I want to say five, my family says four, my short appearance barely toppled over some of those kids. So I wanted to make sure they realized I was the adult in the room. Again, all of the experience that I had acquired from reading and from knowledge and from books, when I got into the room, I was wondering, will they listen to me? Will they be quiet when I do all of those quiet mechanisms that I learned and how to create order in classes? So I read all of the books. I did all the 100 first days of schools, thought all teachers will know what I'm talking about. And I had myself scripted and ready to go. And I was nervous. And I went through the first couple of weeks in heels, nervous. And that was my first days of school. And now, almost 15 years later, I go into a classroom. I am not nervous to go into any room. I know I am the authority in the room because I am the teacher. I have the experience and the knowledge behind me. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we learn things, but I know it's okay. It's okay to tell a student, I don't know that. And you'll have to, look for that on Google because I don't know everything. It's okay because teachers don't know everything. However, they do know how to find the things they don't know. That's why I always tell kids, we know how to find the things we don't know, and we know what we don't know. And we're okay to learn more so we can know more. So these are the things, even on your first days of whatever you're doing, you may feel like the novice in the room. That doesn't mean you're an imposter. It means you simply don't have experience and you're building experience. Again, my Rome wasn't built in a day. You're building experience. And in these days, you're building experience that will help you to progress and to grow. That will help your craft progress and grow. You will be skilled at what you do. You will be the expert in the room. When you look around in 5 years, and I come back in 5 years and watch this video, I'll be like, wow, I was such a novice. And look at me now. Now I'm 5 years after that. It'll be 10 or 15 years. Every year you'll get better at what you're doing if you're practicing your purposeful life. And I think that's something I wanted to share. Now, I know there are people who actually do have imposter syndrome. I do want to do my segment as I always do. If you are having trouble truly trying to figure out who you are and really are concerned with that, please seek a mental health professional because they're there to walk you through and talk you through and just to share with you, encourage you. And they'll also probably let you know the experiences that you're building will bring more confidence as you go. My confidence as a teacher came as I did my craft. My confidence as a preacher has come as I've done my craft. And my confidence, even as a podcaster, will come as I do my craft. So, whatever you're doing, keep going and keep moving forward. That forward progression is so key. So, lots of conversation tonight. I thank you so much for being with me. I have a few takeaways for you. Finding your purpose in life brings joy. My favorite one. Purpose has to have a plan. Movement forward is required. And even small little steps is movement forward. You belong in this space. You may be new, but you are true. You will learn and grow. And purposeful people prosper in life. That's you. You're going to prosper. So, in this episode, I want to thank you. This episode of Life with Libby Joy. I'm Libby Joy. Thank you for joining tonight's conversation. See you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in and remember to enjoy the journey of life.